afternoon to each and every one of you. Glad to see you today. To all those members of my Cocoon family, glad to have you today. But we're also glad to have Anointed Minds, Holistic Health and Wellness with us as well this afternoon. So hello to everyone. Grace, favor, and protection. Glad to see you on this terrific Tuesday today. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a while since I've got a chance to get on, but I'm doing well as well, also doing well. So how's everybody been? I hope everybody's making it, living their best life, being the best that they can be on the way to their becoming. Don't have but a few minutes, but I just want to get on and share a couple of thoughts regards to conflict. Conflict. We have conflict everywhere around us, it seems like now. There's some form of conflict on all sides. And it gets to the point where it gets kind of exhausting to deal with all that conflict, especially the conflict that we may not have created ourselves. You know, it may be something going on in society, something going on in another state or another community. It may not be affecting us directly, but indirectly, conflict is all around us. And in some shape, form, or fashion, that conflict may cause pain. May cause pain inside of us. Well, I just want to let everybody know, if you're dealing with some conflict, some kind of conflict somewhere, and it's producing that pain, that's normal, it's all right. Because inside of that pain, we all have an opportunity to grow. We all have an opportunity to grow and become something greater, something better. Not to say that something is wrong with us right now, where we are right now. Each of us is walking through our own journey, and we're all at different places and different points, in different stages in our lives. But I would just stop to think a moment and say pain is necessary. It's necessary for the majority of us, because we wouldn't grow without it. We wouldn't change without it. We wouldn't get up and do the necessary things in our lives without the pain. So I would like to consider pain to be one of those necessary ingredients to the cake that we're baking. It would be the necessary soil to plant the seed for that garden that we're trying to grow. Pain is necessary, so I wouldn't look at it as such a bad thing all the time. Sometimes pain is just, it sheds the light on an issue that we didn't know anything about. So let's start to look at our pains as that forerunner for change, that forerunner for something better, something greater. Even in the things that's going on in society today, the hardships and the protesting and all those things that we're doing because of that pain that was brought out of that situation. Those are some things that have been going on, you know, as far as I can remember. It's been going on, you know, even before I was born, before some of our parents were born and grandparents. But because now it's being brought to the forefront, it's being brought to the light, and how we're choosing to react to it, it's causing a shift, it's causing a change, it's causing growth in so many mindsets. So many people were thinking one way or another, and it's causing change. It's causing growth in so many people's mindsets today. So in the midst of that pain, greater is coming. But it started with a conflict. There's a conflict, and what we want to just pay attention to today as far as conflict is we want to talk about what conflict is. Conflict is expectation versus reality. Let's think about that for just a second. Conflict is expectations versus reality. And when you think about that definition for just a second, we realize the greatest form of conflict is internal conflict. There is no greater form of conflict than what's inside of us. That's where conflict manifests And that's where it remains most of the time. External conflicts are easier to resolve. Not saying they're easy in general, they're just easier to resolve than internal conflicts, because internal conflicts are the ones that we don't really think we should have to change, or the ones that we don't really think we should have to do anything about. So just focus on the internal conflicts that we're dealing with. We need to deal with those internal conflicts that we can do something about. It's expectation versus reality. And a lot of us, we tend to have expectations over here that are nowhere close to what reality is over here. And we need to see if we can narrow that down. We need to see if we can align our expectations and our reality. The greater the gap, the bigger the gap, the greater the conflict. So what can we do today to make that a little smaller, to shorten that gap, to where we can line our expectations up with reality? Your expectations have to follow reality, because it takes a little bit longer and it's a bigger challenge to get reality to line up with expectations sometimes. It really is. I have a business partner in one of my other ventures that we were talking about the business and what she needed to get started. And she brought it to my attention about when she first got in, she only had $200. She needed $200. And she saw that as a conflict. But it changed something inside of her, because what it made her realize is not only did she not have $200 to start the business or to invest into the business, she didn't have $200 at all. She realized, okay, it's one thing not to have an extra $200. You know, after your rent is paid and your bills are paid and all the necessary things you need are out the way, you don't have any leftover money. That's one part of disappointment. That's one area of disappointment. But when you don't have $200 at all, that's the conflict that was going on. The conflict was, I don't have $200 at all. I don't have $200 to invest in this business. I don't have $200 to pay my bills. I don't have $200 to pay my rent. I don't have $200 for anything. And when we were talking about it one day, she said, I would never want to ever be in that position to need another $200 and don't have it. How can I put myself in a position to never have to worry about needing $200 for anything ever again? So because of that reality, it brought about pain. It brought about pain, and then subsequently, it brought about change. It brought about something great inside of her, because she felt that pain. But it started out with the conflict. She wanted to do this, but she couldn't. She wanted to do that, but couldn't. It was a conflict because her expectations and her reality just didn't match. So let us just think about that on today, of our internal conflicts. Our internal conflicts are the ones that beat us down the most, that carry the most weight, that make us feel the most empty and the most worthless. It's our internal conflicts. Because those are the conflicts that we really can't ask for external help. We can ask for ideas, and we can ask for different opinions and advice, but at the end of the day, we're the ones that have to resolve that internal conflict ourselves. And the majority of the time, it's just the fact that we're not willing to bring our expectation to reality. The reality is, there is no such thing as Superman. Ladies, there is no such thing as Superman. So Superman is a fictional character. So there is no one with a cape on that can come from one end of the world to the other end of the world in 5 seconds and save you at the last minute. There is no Superman. There is no Prince Charming. There is no fairy tale story character in reality. So the expectation that there needs to become one causes a conflict. fellas, men, there is no superwoman, there is no Wonder Woman, there is no superwoman hero that can come and do everything you want them to do at the drop of a dime in reality. That's an expectation that we as men have that's not reality. So the struggle is the conflict of saying this person is not that. Let me stop it. This job is going to pay me $200 an hour for working at a fast food restaurant or a Walmart or any of those jobs that you're asking. No job is going to pay us what we're worth. That is our expectation, but it is not reality. The only way to get paid what you're worth is if you work for yourself. There's nobody who punches a clock that says, yeah, they pay me what I'm worth. Because you really feel like you're worth $1 million an hour. To be honest, I feel that way. I feel like, hey, I'm worth $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. That's what I feel like I'm worth, and nobody can tell me different. You feel like you're worth a certain amount of money an hour, and nobody can tell you different. So the reality is, where are you going to find a job where somebody else is in charge of paying you? Where are you going to find a job that's going to pay you what you feel you're worth? They may pay you what they want to pay you and you accept it, but you know that's not what you're worth. You know you're worth more. So our conflict is how to bridge the gap between reality and expectation. For some, that's easier said than done. For some, their expectations are the reality. And that's why the pain is so great, because they work so hard at trying to find a way to make reality fit them. They work so hard to put reality in their bucket, in their box, and make it do what it needs to do, when in actuality, it's the expectations that need to be revisited. So for those of us that are having issues doing that, it may not be you. It may not be the person that's watching this live video. It may be somebody that you're related to, or somebody that you work closely with, or someone at your church, or someone that you just know in general that needs help with that, bridging the gap between reality and expectation. How can I help you? How can I help them? My name is Malachi. If you need to reach me for any reason, you can do so at anointedminds@gmail.com. You can email me, or you can visit my website at anointedminds.com. I'm here to help. It may be with this particular issue or this particular challenge, or it may be with any challenge. How can I help you? The goal is to get better every day. Every day we wake up is another opportunity to be better than we were yesterday. We're in competition with no one else but our former self, our previous self. We're in competition with no one. Only to be better than we were yesterday. And depending on what challenge, what person is facing, that may be a little difficult to do on our own. We may not have the knowledge that we need to have. We may not have the strength. Some of us have been doing the best we can just to survive day to day. And that in itself is an exhausting task. Every day it gets harder and harder to survive. So for those of you that may be in need of help, someone to just come along and walk with you, how can I help you? Again, my name is Malachi. It's nice to be of service to you, making myself available. For those that have other people that they can talk to, that is great. I would just like to offer my services and myself as another option. I like to just make myself available as another option. Thank you, Cocoon family, for being with me this long. We're actually going on, I think, 6 months we just passed. I think it was just been 6 months, and maybe 7. But I just thank you for just being with me and growing with me. I thank you for tuning in today. I love you as always. invite someone in. Invite someone in. If you also by telephone, I'm sorry, I forgot my telephone number. If you need to reach me, is 682-730-0483. 682-730-0483. You can also reach me by phone or text. Enjoy the rest of your terrific Tuesday, family. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.